After 5 action-packed rounds around Australia, the inaugural Speedcar Pro Series is set to conclude in dramatic fashion at the Premier Speedway in Warrnambool, Victoria. The event doubles as the 69th running of the Victorian Speedcar Championship. The battle for the Pro Series crown will be fought out by 3 men: current series leader Lee Redman, Bunbury hotshot Dane Kingshot, and expat Victorian Mark Brown. Our coverage presented by Speedway Australia and Speedcars Australia. On Speed, this is Checkered Flag, celebrating 19 years. Proudly presented by Valvoline Sin Power, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance. Good to have your company on the Speed Channel. Welcome to Premier Speedway at Warrnambool in Victoria. It's been a terrible day weather-wise. There's been rain falling on and off and very gusty conditions for the grand final of the Speedcar Pro Series. As we've already highlighted for you in our program teaser, there are 3 drivers that mathematically have a chance of winning the championship tonight. There they are: Lee Redman, Dane Kingshot and Mark Brown. It'll go right down to the wire. Earlier, we spoke to the top 3 chances.
Well, final round of the 2013-2014 Speedcar Pro Series. We're here with championship leader. It's all on the line tonight. Lee Redman from Redman Transport. Lee, it only seemed like a couple of weeks ago you won your first Speedcar event. Here you are with a chance to take out the series.
Yeah, mate, it's pretty exciting. We put ourselves in a good position. Tonight, you know, there's some bloody good guys here racing tonight. It's a few the locals and obviously some guys coming down from the eastern states to prepare to go to the Aussie title next week. So yeah, it's going to be tough work, mate.
I guess the main thing is we got Brownie's only 15 behind us, so I've got to finish in front of him, and I've got to finish, you know, at least 3 spots in front of Lee. So really, all we can do is come out here and try and win, and hopefully get the points as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. You know, I mean, we've done a few changes throughout the last couple of weeks, and you know, since then the car's been really good. So I can certainly put it anywhere I want at the moment, and hopefully, you know, the equation is a little difficult, but we can do it. It's definitely achievable.
Since beginning his speedcar career in 1998, Western Australian Scott Glazebrook has been a fan favourite due to his on-track exploits and his cheerful disposition. Glazebrook's achievements out west have been well documented. Since winning the WASDA Rookie of the Year in 1998, he's won 8 Wild West Country Series titles, 8 Perth Motorplex Speedcar Track Championships, 8 WASDA President's Cup Awards and 2 Western Australian Speedcar titles. Like many of his fellow competitors, Glazebrook grew up with a family that fully embraced the speedway culture, and he knew from an early age that the sport would play a strong presence in his life.
I guess back in '98, I used to always hang out with, like, my family always raced, my dad's always raced. Basically, when Dad had enough, he decided to get out and give me the opportunity to have a go, and I was very fortunate to be able to jump in and get straight into it. My older brother Mark, he also raced for a number of years, but due to work commitments and family and stuff, he had to give it away. But we've always been a family-based sort of outfit.
Originally from Western Australia, not far from the Motorplex either, I might add. How beneficial was that growing up in Western Australia and also near a speedway?
It was great. Like, I started racing when I was about 12. We had a lot of close tracks to the CBD. We had like Bibra Lake Speedway, was a really little bull ring. I started racing there in a quarter midget. But yeah, there was, you know, a lot of family outings with mum and dad and my brother and now my wife. Yeah, it was good way to get into the sport.
Glazebrook is one of 6 contracted drivers from Western Australia to contest the inaugural Speedcar Pro Series, and he currently sits 4th heading into tonight's final round. The Bertram resident is proud to be a part of a history-making series this season.
It means a lot to me. We're running 4th in the points at the minute out of the guys, and it's pretty tough. Like, the series has gone to a lot of good venues, and a lot of good fast racing. We're just really privileged to be a part of it, and yeah, like you said, it is going from strength to strength, and I think next year it's going to be even bigger again.
It's remarkable, as you said, that you are running in fourth. You've certainly had your fair share of ups and downs this series, haven't you, if you'd like to elaborate, Iceman?
Yeah, I think we've been to the back a lot of times that we probably shouldn't have. We've been taken out a couple of times, that sort of stuff, but that's all part of racing. Adelaide, we got taken out, had to go to the back, come back through the pack. We ended up riding a wheel and didn't finish that show, so that was a bit disappointing, but we're running fourth. I would have liked to have finished in the top three because that was my aim, but it's going to be tough tonight to get into that.
Away from his speed car and family commitments, Glazebrook works as a rigger in the construction industry. And whilst he loves his job, as well as his racing, he says finding a balance in life is not easy.
I work for a company called Slurid Constructions. And they actually help us out. They sponsor us on the car and they look after us. We do a lot of structural steel erection, commercial stuff, residential stuff, a lot of high-rise stuff back in Perth, mainly in the CBD in Perth. But yeah, it's pretty full on and it's exciting, and the company itself's moving forward and getting bigger. So.
You mentioned earlier off camera, Scott, you don't get a lot of free time on your hands, do you? Especially with two kids, and then you've got Kelly as well. Nah,
I definitely don't. Between work and racing and the kids racing, it's pretty full on. Like, it's really enjoyable, but it takes a lot of work to do it as well. So I think in the next couple of years it's going to be even busier too when Diesel starts racing. So we've got that to look forward to.
Although Glazebrook is no longer in contention to win the Pro Series, just being a part of it has inspired him to travel more over the next few years. His eventual career goal is to win the Australian Speedcar Championship.
I'd really like to try and get Australia one. I think that that's pretty much my main ambition. But at the minute, we're just enjoying it. We're doing what we love, and it's good to get on the road. Like with this series, there's a lot of good WA guys that we'll have a lot of fun with, and it's just good to get on the road and have some good clean racing.
And the best thing about racing a speedcar?
I think it's just the fact that it's open wheel and you can get close and you can rub some people, but it takes a bit of give and take, and you can't be too aggressive. Sometimes you're better off being a bit patient and choosing when you want to be aggressive. But yeah, I love it. I've driven a couple of other things like a late model and a sprint car, and I got to say I enjoy the midget the most.
Yes, good feature story on Scotty Glazebrook. He's made an outstanding contribution to speed car racing, particularly in his native Western Australia. He's certainly had a mortgage on the state title over on the other side of the country for quite some time. Okay, of course tonight it does double as the Victorian Speedcar Championship in cyclonic conditions here in Warrnambool. There's a quick glance at the last 10 years or so. Adam Clark is of course the defending champion. Here's a word from our quick time winner.
Well, congratulations to Troy Jenkins, fastest tonight, the Revolution Race Gear quick time here at Warrnambool for the ultimate final round, the grand final of the 2013-2014 Speedcar Pro Series. Also the Victorian title on the line tonight. Troy, how'd the car feel out there?
Yeah, look, the track's coming in nicely. Unfortunately, Mother Nature's probably just give us a little bit of a curveball now, so I'm not sure what the quick time will mean now. But look, I guess the most important thing for us so far, we've got a bit of car speed.
Yeah, it looks like we will get some racing in. There appear to be 4 cars that can get to finish their quick time qualifying.
Yeah, look, I wasn't really sure. I just worried about my own thing, but I don't know what's going to go on from here. But we're happy. The car's fast, and the rest of it's up to me now.
It's certainly great to have you back, Troy. How'd you find the track out there?
Oh, look, the trying conditions of today, but there's no doubt about it. The guys here at Premier have still put on a good racetrack.
All right, well, congratulations. It sets you up nicely for the rest of the night.
Thank you. Let's hope we'll talk to you at the end of the night.
With torrential rain lashing Warrnambool in the days prior, the question on many people's minds was would the Victorian Speedcar Championship, doubling as the final round of the Speedcar Pro Series, go ahead? The good news for all participants was the rain did clear in time for heat racing to commence. Just how long it would hold off was another matter altogether. The opening heat of the night commenced with Echuca's Travers Mills leading the field away from fellow Victorian David May. The real battle of the race was between May, Jamie McKinlay, Troy Jordan and Brock Hallett. Having started 5th, Hallett showed impressive pace to pass McKinlay, May and Jordan to reach as high as 2nd. Lee Redmond started off the night on the wrong foot with battery dramas and finished a lap down to Mills, who comfortably took the win as well as smashing the 10-lap track records for speed cars around Warrnambool. Hallett and May finished 2nd and 3rd respectively.
Yeah, no, that's good. The boys just told me we got the 10-lap record, so great start to our night. We're just going to keep it going now.
The KTEC Rentals team threw a cat among the pigeons when they brought out 2013 PowerEye National Midget Champion Zach Daub for the final round. The 22-year-old has over 300 feature wins to his credit and quickly demonstrated in Heat 2 why he is one of the world's hottest drivers right now. Starting from 5th, Daub took only 4 laps to work his way up to 2nd before hounding Scott Glazebrook for the remainder of the race. Daub pounced on the last lap and took the win from the Western Australian. Domain Ramsey was 3rd and Australian champion Neville Lance was 4th.
Yeah, thank you. It's a really racy track here tonight, so hopefully we can keep it up for these next couple of races.
Making a welcome return to the Speedcar Pro Series with the KTEC Rentals team, Sean Bradford led the field away in Heat 3 of hostilities that included championship protagonists Dane Kingshott and Mark Brown. Utilising his sprint car experience, Bradford drove a cool and calculated race to fend off a late race charge from Kingshott and take the win from the Bunbury driver. Brown came home in 3rd.
Yeah, it's a good start to the night. Hopefully we can keep the results coming in like that. Zach driving the other car for Rod, he also won his heat, so we're off to a good start for the team. And I think I'm off the rear of the next one, so if I can pass a few cars, we might be looking alright for the main.
Coming up on Checkered Flag, we bring you the final round of heats for this season's Speedcar Pro Series. Plus, we have a chat with Dane Kingshott's girlfriend in our Woman Behind the Man segment.
See, what's the most romantic thing he's ever done for you?
He's not a very good romantic. He's very lazy at home. Very, very lazy. Tell you the truth. Checkered Flag!
Unsurpassed protection for today's hotter running, higher compression engines. Valvoline with next-gen technology, made with 50% re-refined engine oil and 100% Valvoline protection. Finally, performance meets environment. We'll make a tree hugger out of you yet.
Ugh, I'm done smooching Mrs. Muggles. I need something back.
I taste that sticky syrup on my lips.
Buy a meal and ta-da! You could score a new car.
That's amore. Any meal can win. Simply pop your code in.
That's amore. Every day someone wins.
Instantly there'll be grins then for sure.
Eat at Macca's today and get your chance to play. That's amore. That's amore.
Hi, it's Kitty from Progressive Car Insurance. We bought this 15-second ad to tell you that we can save you money because we're 100% online. And I think it worked.
Ready to save on comprehensive car insurance? Visit progressiveonline.com.au.
This January, a new rivalry is coming to FX.
CN Tower, Sydney Opera House, Niagara Falls, the Great Barrier Reef,
Maple syrup.
Vegemite,
Ice hockey.
Aussie rules,
Skating.
surfing, Rush, AC/DC.
There's only one way to settle this argument. Exclusively FX. The Ultimate Fighter Nations. Australia versus Canada. 4:30 Thursday.
Green flag.
You're watching the 19th season of Checkered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance. Welcome back to the Premier Speedway at Warrnambool. Our comprehensive race coverage now set to commence with the running of heat number 4. Sammy Walsh, good evening.
Good evening, David. Great to see this mighty speed cars back here at Warrnambool. Very excited.
As we see Lee Redmond and Robert Gordon sharing the front row in Heat 4, and Warren Ferguson, welcome back.
Yeah, great to be here. I'm salivating at the thought of speed cars down here at Warrnambool.
Absolutely. It hasn't happened for a number of years. We know how quick this track is with its high banks and generally hooked up racing surface. You'd think it'll be a wonderful show tonight. Underway with Lee Redmond, a major contender in the championship. He's the race leader in advance of Robert Gordon. The pacer cracker here early in this race. You can see Travis Mills there coming together with a slower car that he was attempting to pass on the inside. Well, they are running like lightning out there.
Robert Gordon looking very, very aggressive up, going after the lead, and Redmond's sort of running through the middle of the racetrack and leaving that inside door a little bit open.
Yeah, Redmond's using his normal consistent pace, you know, keeping it clean, keeping it straight, something that we've noticed through this series. He's very good at it.
We've mentioned a couple of times tonight's grand final of the Speedcar Pro Series, doubling as the Victorian title. Up and over is Brock Hallett, the South Australian. He has been a star of this tournament. Now, let's look at this, the onboard of Lee Redmond. Look right at the top of the picture, and you can see Hallett all on his own, putting the car into the wall. The good news from the scene is that Brock has emerged unscathed. Look, you don't want to crash and find that concrete wall anywhere, but here at Warrnambool on the high banks, it's scary stuff, Sammy.
Yeah, well, your speed's just so far up with the high banks, and you know, hitting the wall here or any crash here usually results in a pretty damaged race car.
Of course, the Victorian Speedcar title, inaugurated in April of 1935. It's the second oldest speed car race in the world, behind the American Thanksgiving Grand Prix held in November. Or was it that race was inaugurated in November of 1934, so there's not a lot between them. So the race update sees Lee Redmond in advance of Robert Gordon, David May, Scotty Wilson and Travis Mills attempting to go forward. Here he comes now, Travis, the man affectionately known as Squizzy, in the blue 14 car, the Graham Racing Developments entry, and he makes the pass stick. He got by on the inside of two of them.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's had to catch up a little bit from an earlier bump with Dave Lambert. But I tell you, the guy who's impressing me at the moment is David May. He's come from deep in the pack to be sitting in third place. He's just been picking a nice line around the bottom. You can see him there dicing with Millsy at the moment, and he's doing a good job.
He certainly is. He started from position 7. Mills up on the inside, smoke pouring off the right rear, and then a drag race down the main straight. It is so on board with Travis Mills as we see David May. Well, talk about the commentator's curse, Mr. Ferguson. What have you done?
I don't know, but it doesn't look pretty.
Oh, my goodness. We can see that David May is moving around in the car. We saw it again from the onboard perspective. This time, Travis Mills, contact, up and over.
Not sure if Millsy straightened up there a little bit on the entry to the corner. I don't know if there was a...
I think
sure what happened there.
I think he got on that bit of concrete down the bottom. I saw some of the guys earlier on touching the concrete, and they get a bit of a push, Sammy, and I think he ran Dave May out of room there.
So two members of the Upside Down Club in this race, Brock Hallett, and now David May. A couple of laps to go. Lee Redmond, can he hang on? The snarling 17 car of Robert Gordon running strongly. He's been excellent in this race. Now we have the uncanny situation here of having two cars numbered 42, and Scott Wilson, there he is on screen, leading Jamie McKinlay with the orange roll cage. Last lap now for our leader, Lee Redmond, who hasn't been able to shake off Gordon for the entire race. Now McKinlay goes upstairs looking for a way by on the last couple of corners. The run to the checkered flag, and Lee Redmond takes the win in Heat 4. A solid performance by a man that comes into this meeting tonight as a contender, not a pretender. Gordon second, Wilson, McKinlay, and Troy Jordan in Victorian car 11, officially placed in 5th. That was Heat 4 of tonight's Speedcar Pro Series Grand Final. And Redmond, well, he has been the find of the season in this class of racing. Let's hear from him.
P4 winner, Lee Redmond, mate. Huge sigh of relief there. You got through that one.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we haven't had the best start tonight, obviously, but yeah, we fixed the battery problem, and of course, once you start chasing things that are wrong with the car, you don't chase the setup, and that's what we just found in that heat. The car was pretty bad, but I was able to drive around it. So yeah, we'll try and make a lot of adjustments now to make it good for the feature race.
Okay, Drury Forbes catching up with Lee Redmond. A howling gale here tonight at Warrnambool in Victoria, one of the great speedway venues in the world. Of course, the host facility for the Grand Annual Classic, 3-day sprint car festival that attracts well in excess of 100 nominations. There's the grid for Heat 5. Thomas and Bennett, Ramsey, Estrella, the reigning Australian champion Lance, then Wallace, Zach Daum, the American, then Glazebrook, Golding, Squires and Palmer. It's a hot field of 11 cars to face the starter here. With Bennett on the inside, we go racing. The charge to the first corner intense. The Queenslander Brett Thomas in the black 69 car. He's upstairs. We've got a driver moving around the top fairly quickly. It's Domain Ramsey, who of course you guys would know better as a sprint car driver.
Yeah, I'm sure he's no stranger to this circuit. Done a lot of laps here in a sprint car and looking very good in his midget at the moment.
There's Zach Daum, the American, in the black, or rather the silver 7 car. He's a real talent. And now we see a charge on the inside by Todd Bennett, and he's under siege from the American.
Ramsey's also made a good move there, got himself to the lead, got past Thomas, and like you said, Sammy, he's looking great here in the midget at the moment.
Yeah, Daum also obviously, working his way to the front, showing he's a lot more experienced. He's utilising the inside of the racetrack, whereas a lot of guys are entering on the outside and sort of coming down across the bottom.
Mid-race distance, Daum, the American, charges by on the inside. Domain Ramsey, race leader, and obviously he has a problem now. It's the driver of the 7 car, and he is making massive inroads into the lead enjoyed by Ramsey. Now he moves up right behind him. Well, the Essendon Ford entry is under siege, and well, the American just too good there. He snaps to the inside, takes the lead with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, he made that look too easy, and if you have a look at their 2 different driving styles, Domain's probably a little bit more aggressive on the steering wheel, and Zach's showing his professionalism, just slipping it underneath.
Another look at that on the Valvoline Sin Power replay. Ramsey did nothing wrong.
Daum just storms into the corner a lot harder, straightens the car up on the entry a little bit just to fit through the gap that Ramsey left on the inside.
Ramsey almost caught a cold with the breeze. He went by that quickly. Across the start-finish line, last lap for the American professional, who runs in about 70 speed car or midget shows annually in the United States. And that's a big win for Uncle Sam in heat number 5 of the Speedcar Pro Series Grand Final. Ramsey runner-up, then Thomas, Neville Lance and Adam Wallace in the 64 car. Good to have you with us on the Speed Channel around Australia. What an outstanding success story the Speedcar Pro Series has been during its inaugural season. Here's a word from the American.
Wow, that was electrifying. Heat 5 winner tonight, Zach Daum, the Dominator, mate. You started on 8th and you showed him who was the man.
Yeah, it's track's really racy right now, so you can you move around on the racetrack. You want to go high, you want to go low, you can kind of do what you want to do right now. So hopefully track stays like that for the feature, and I think we'll see a hell of a show.
Yeah, Zach Daum, he's a heck of a talent, hails from Illinois in the USA, runs as a professional speed car driver and also runs in the Silver Crown Wingless Sprints Series in the US of A, which means he has big kahunas, gentlemen.
That he does. Those Silver Crowns are a hell of a car, actually. That's real old school racing as well.
So, as we now advance to race number 6, heat number 6 here tonight, Jenkins, who was the quick man in the BOC Gases 78 car. He lines up on the outside of the front row here with Paul Farrell on his inside. A veteran of more than 2 decades of racing, Troy Jenkins, multiple winner of the Australian Speed Car Grand Prix. Glancing back through the field, here's Anthony Chafee moving up on the inside of Paul Farrell. Chafee, very good driver, and obviously spends his time racing in his home state of Queensland, and Queensland arguably has the most vibrant speed car scene in the country in the present era.
Just watching Troy Jenkins here, his car's looking really dialed in. Obviously, we know that already because he got quick time, but he's extremely fast out front, and that motor's showing a lot of pace.
Yeah, the track semi's kind of narrowed into one line at the moment. I just see Bradford there before, trying to get on the high groove. He sort of caught the edge of the cushion. I say that, and Chafee makes it through. But the guys aren't able to get upstairs. It's like a little bit heavy for these small cars.
Chafee running in second behind Troy Jenkins. Speaking of Anthony, here he is up on the inside of Paul Farrell. We preempted that manoeuvre a lap or so prior. Now this car operating like it's on rails. Now here's one of my favourite onboard shots in Speedcar racing, Dane Kingshot, the West Australian in the Bunbury Subaru entry. He too is a major contender tonight for outright honours. You can see his eyes and the look of concentration on his face.
He's got a job at hand tonight, and that's go out and get as many points as he can and try and take this championship home with him. But he's got a few cars to pass at the moment. The track actually, like Warren said, is a little one line at the moment.
But frighteningly fast nonetheless. It's heart in the mouth stuff here.
It's Warrnambool, Dave. It's Warrnambool.
Exactly. You've got to love this place. Full credit to the host club. They continue to pour money into this venue. It is an absolute world-class facility. And Troy Jenkins, he's in a class of his own in this one. He runs the Stealth chassis and the Synergy engine. And it is a nice synergy, isn't it, as it goes across the start-finish line and takes the win in heat race number 6. Well done to Troy Jenkins. Chafee in second. Good drive by him. Kingshot finishing in third position. And he started from position 7 on the grid, so that's a good effort. Then Farrell and Robinson. Robinson, of course, the West Australian. Well, Drury Forbes caught up with Troy Jenkins earlier in the meeting by virtue of recording the quick time in qualifying. Here he is again.
Troy Jenkins, Heat 6 winner, mate. You just can't keep off the number 1 spot all night, can you?
Yeah, look, we started up front, so it was a reasonably easier run than what we had in the last heat race. So so far so good. The best, the stealth's going pretty good. So let's see if we can finish it off.
Got the setup right tonight, or is there more amendments to make to the car?
Oh, the wind's blowing the hard here tonight. I could almost employ an aerodynamics specialist to get some extra speed in the straightaway. Yeah, look, we've got a couple of little changes to make, and we'll go out the dash now and see how we can start off front for the feature.
Okay, it's time on the program for the Super 7s pole shuffle. The top 7 point scorers thus far in the event. And at the end of each 2-lap segment, the 2 drivers at the back are eliminated. Jenkins, Dorm, Kingshot, Ramsey, Lance, Chafee. Now Sean Bradford was scheduled to start this, but he's just pulled to the infield. So there are only 6 drivers out there as we go racing. This is, of course, the battle for pole position, and Jenkins goes straight to the low line. He's got the American behind him. The Australian champion Neville Lance hits the wall, and then Domain Ramsey clips him on the way through. Lance is thinking, what is happening here?
Action packed down the back. They've all got to race to stay in this one to try and get to the front so they can start up the front of the feature race. So yeah, it's pretty helter-skelter down the back there.
So Dorm to the front, Jenkins across the line. So that's the end of the first 2 laps. And Lanson, he's been eliminated. Bradford already pulled out before the start of that one, as I mentioned. So Dorm showing that he means business here. He and Jenkins side by side. Then Kingshot. As we get them underway, Chafee is there too, the Queenslander, followed by Domain Ramsey. It's a sprint down the back straight. There's Chafee, good shot of him chasing Dane Kingshot, but it's Dorm and Jenkins. 1 lap to run in this segment.
Sorry there, I just saw Domain Ramsey throw it up the inside there, and I thought he and Chafee was going to get pretty ugly.
Okay, across the line, American. It's the job done again, so Domain and Anthony are eliminated from the Super 7s pole shuffle. So the American, Zach Dorm, looking fantastic out there. So now we have just 3. Jenkins on the outside, a good start. Can he grab pole position for the main event? Dorm switches lines from the outside to the inside and takes the lead. Kingshot and Jenkins, a little bit of contact there.
That was a great piece of driving. Just used the momentum from the outside when Troy sort of cut him off to the inside, Dorm stormed back across the track and made a long back straight out of it.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth there, Sammy.
So Dorm is going to start on pole tonight. There's the checkered flag flying. Blustery conditions. The rain, according to the Bureau, is on its way back after seeing a fair bit of precipitation here during the lead up to tonight's event. So Dorm, Jenkins, Kingshot, Chafee, Ramsey, Lance, Bradford. That's the way they're going to start the first 7 positions on the grid for tonight's main event. Well, that vision just about sums up the bitter conditions prevailing here tonight on the shipwrecked coast here at Warrnambool. It is a dreadful night. B-main now for those drivers that haven't as yet qualified for the main. There are 14 drivers that have been seeded through.
Some big hitters in this, David.
There are. You can see the names there. Hallett, Redmond, Brown, Mills, to name just some. Squires, Whiting, Day, Golding, Estrella and Palmer. It's a 17-car field. The top 6 to go through and join the main event tonight. This will be a beauty. For some drivers, this will be the end of their Pro Series Championship in 2013-14. Robert Gordon goes to the front. Have a look at the traffic. Further back in the pack, you can see Redmond in the black car, number 52. And there are wheels and roll cages everywhere.
3 wide there into turn 1. Brownie on the outside.
Oh! And Redmond has hit the wall. He's come together with another car, ridden the wheel, clouded the wall. And it doesn't appear that he will be continuing. Robert Gordon doing a tremendous job out in front in the blue 17 car.
Been showing some really good car speed at the later half of tonight's racing, and he's just unlucky to be in the B main. I think he'd be hard to beat.
Lee Redmond has gone to the infield. Hope he's okay. He hit the wall there with a fair bit of force. Here's Travis Mills rather. Another look at that from the Lee Redmond on board. You see there, he rides a wheel, bang, into the fence.
Quite heavy contact with the ground too. After he rode the wheel, the front end has hit the ground quite heavily, so could have done some damage in the front end, and you never know until you see the car afterwards, but I'm sure there's issues there.
Dave Lambert and Mark Brown running hard. Lambert's been a solid competitor in open wheel racing for a number of years, gentlemen, in various categories, as we watch Brock Hallett moving closer to the race leader, Robert Gordon.
We can just see these guys struggling to pass a bit, Sammy. I saw Brownie on the outside. They're either nice and free on the bottom, or they're really hooked up once they get to mid-track.
Yeah, not really able to use the full advantage of the cushion at the moment, whether the inside's just got a little bit too much grip still or not. Like Brock's there really pounding the cushion quite hard on the outside, but kind of I guess blocked a little bit by the line that Gordon takes high on the entry and then low off the corner. So yeah, maybe as the track slickens off a bit more, the outside might come into play a bit harder.
Mills is still running at the pointy end of the pack. Mark Brown is also safely there. They'll both move through to the main event if they stay where they are on the track at the present time. We ride on board with the Toyota-powered Eagle chassis, the Graham Racing Developments entry, driven in this series by Travis Mills. And with about 3.5 laps remaining in this B main, we go orange on the speedway. You're looking at Brock Hallett. And yellow flags out. And we have got a problem over here with Lee Redmond on the infield, who is now receiving medical attention. We saw Lee drive to the middle after that impact with the wall. He's obviously having a degree of discomfort. There it is again. And the race has been stopped in case, or to allow the ambulance to make its way out of the venue. We do sincerely wish Lee all the best. He's been outstanding in this tournament. Of course, he won the Murray Bridge round. The former Speedway bike rider. We wish him all the best. He's been transported out into the pits for further observation. More than likely, he'll be heading to hospital. Back into racing, however, and Robert Gordon in charge. Brock Hallett behind him. And Travis Mills moving closer to Hallett as well. So good scrap here in the B main, the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, great start by Gordon. He certainly caught the field napping, and you know, when you consider the talents behind him, you've got Hallett there, Mills, Brown just a spot behind there as well, as Mills makes the pass on Hallett. You know that Gordon's doing a stellar job out front.
And a couple of heavy hitters behind him. Of course, Travis Mills has tasted success in compact speed cars as well as speed cars. And again, we look out the back of the Graham Racing Developments entry. That is Brock Hallett, about 4 car lengths behind the Victorian, and make that up on the inside. Thank you very much. Not done with just yet, Brock Hallett. They are having a really good battle out there. Meanwhile, you can see Mark Brown in the Team Fox Racing entry has moved up a spot in advance of Dave Lambert. Last lap, Gordon is going to win the B main.
Gordon's looked really strong from the outset, and he's going straight to the A main tonight.
It's been a wheel-perfect performance by the driver of the 17 machine. He takes the checkered flag at Premier Speedway in Warrnambool. Hallett runner-up, then Travis Mills. Next on the circuit was Paul Farrell in advance of Mark Brown and Dave Lambert. They are all through to tonight's main event. So Robert Gordon, well done, leading home some high-profile drivers in this sport. Okay, let's head to Drury Forbes, who's with a disappointed Lee Redmond.
Yeah, thanks, Tappy. Well, unfortunate scenes down here in the Redmond Transport truck. Lee's had the crash in the B main, and he's just been attended to by ambulance staff. Lee, you're a little injured. I know you're no stranger to injury, but this one might hurt a bit more.
Yeah, mate, yeah, we got tangled up with another driver in the B main and rode his wheel and ended up in the wall, and I was already carrying a rib injury from work on Friday, and I just think I've just torn that muscle again, and yeah, sort of race again.
So, as we speak, it is raining here at Warrnambool, and you are the current championship leader for the inaugural Speedcar Pro Series, Lee, and the equation is, if you're not aware, Dane Kingshot needs to finish 12th or better if the A main does go ahead. So how does that sit with you?
Oh, mate, you know, like I'm happy whatever happens. You know, at the end of the day, we've put ourselves in a position to be in front in this round, and we've had a really good series. And Dane's an amazing driver, and he's young, and you know he's going really well. Brownie's doing fantastic. You know, whatever the result is, I'll be happy because I know, you know, we come here and did 110%, and tonight didn't fall our way.
Yes, there's no doubt that Lee Redmond can hold his head high. It's been a mighty tournament by the West Australian, and one would think he will improve even further in the remainder of the season. He'll be buoyed by the confidence that he's obtained, if you like, from doing well in this series. There's Mark Brown on screen. Let's head down. Drury is with him.
Well, drama's unfolding here at Warrnambool. Lee Redmond's injured. Then there were two. If the A-main goes ahead, Kingshot in pole position at this stage, but certainly don't count out Mark Brown. And Mark's here just making some last-minute changes. So where's everything sit for you at the moment?
I think we're coming from 20 and we've got to get to the front. Simple as that. We've just got to beat Dane by a spot, I guess, or 2 spots. You know, it's no good for Lee. You know, I don't want to see anyone get there and lose a championship like that, but he still may win it. You know, the rain might win out here. You know, there's a lot of rain just then, so. But, you know, we just got to worry about what we're doing, and hopefully we can get this thing right. We haven't had it right all night. We're nowhere near it, and we're in a lot of trouble here, so it's going to be a big fight here.
Yeah, rain falling steadily at Premier Speedway at Warrnambool. Let's find out more from the race director, Shane Collins, with Drury.
Well, as the drama incredibly unfolds here at Premier Speedway Warrnambool, we're joined now with Speedway Australia and Speedcar Pro Series race director, Shane Collins. Shane, what on earth is going on?
Well, I'd love to give you the answer, Drew, but we're sitting around waiting and hoping it doesn't rain. Obviously, we had a good downpour just before, and the track staff are doing everything they can to try and bring the track back. With only the A main to run, you know, hopefully we can get it in. So, but, you know, we're probably 15-20 minutes away from getting back on there now, and hopefully we can get it in because the championship's in the balance. So it'll be really good if we can.
Of course, the inaugural championship at that. The rain has eased, so fingers crossed. Where do we sit now? Lee Redmond, unfortunately, is injured, but he still finds himself leading the championship. How can Kingshot and Mark Brown take the title from here?
Well, funnily enough, with one race to go and with weather, there's so many different scenarios. So if we don't get back out on the track, points are actually allocated to their qualifying positions. So as we sit right now, if we didn't go back on the track, King Shot wins. But if we go back out on the track and then King Shot doesn't finish in the top 12, I think it is, Lee Redmond gets the win. So, sitting in his trailer injured, unfortunately. But there's so many different scenarios at the moment, it's really hard to predict. So fingers crossed the weather stays off and the guys can do it on the track.
Well, now it's time for Woman Behind the Man, and we're here with the lovely Kat Mitchell, soon to be Kat Kingshot, down the track, the partner of Dane Kingshot. Kat, thanks for joining us. Why don't you tell us how you and Dane met and how he swept you off your feet?
We met on New Year's 2 years ago through mutual friends, my best friend and one of his best friends. They both date, so yeah, it just happened like that.
And when you started seeing Dane, what was it about him that really pushed your buttons?
I don't know really, he's just cute, funny, just him.
What's Dane like away from the track? And we should also ask you, what's the most romantic thing he's ever done for you?
He's not a very good romantic. He's very lazy at home, very lazy, to tell you the truth.
Living together already, are we?
Yes, yeah.
Things are getting serious.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a ring.
And how long have you been with Dane for, Kat?
2 years.
And what's something that really gets him fired up?
Losing races. Probably.
What would your life be without Dane Kingshot?
Pretty boring actually. Mainly work, so he sort of takes up most of it, but it's good.
The race for this fantastic custom speed helmet, signed by all the drivers, has finished. Thanks for all your brilliant answers, but there can only be one winner, so congratulations to the entry on screen now. Keep a lookout for more competitions in 2014 here on Speed.
Introducing Valvoline Engine Armour. It's the only engine oil with Chemalloy technology to provide armour against corrosion, armour against engine wear, and armour against extreme temperatures. Valvoline Engine Armour. It's armour for your engine. You know what I mean.
A Big Mac, drinking fries, cheeseburger, apple pie.
That's amore. Simply choose one of these, then two sides as you please. That's amore.
Grand Angus, Sayador, Sunday, and much more.
Cracky, what a score!
Coffee, salad, McChicken. Get a generous deal when you build your own meal. That's amore. That's amore.
Build your own amore meal today. More cabin space, so no man is left behind. More pulling power at 3.5 tonnes, towing just got serious. More technology when you can't trust the navigator. And more toughness, because great fishing spots aren't always on the map. The 147 kilowatt Mazda BT50, because more is more.
And the first prize goes to you.
Vote for your favourite show and Aussie Star in the 2014 Astra Awards. For your chance to win VIP treatment, flights and accommodation, and a limo to the awards for you and a friend.
I'd like to thank Foxtel and Telstra for flying me to the Astra Awards.
To enter, go to astraawards.com, channel 333, SMS, or find us on Facebook.
I can't wait for the celebrity after party.
You're watching the 19th season of Checkered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline Sin Power, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance.
Welcome back to Premier Speedway. The good news is the rain has disappeared for the time being. The radar suggesting there is more on the way, so let's hope that this main event, the final feature race in the grand final of the Speedcar Pro Series, can be run and won. Very simply, Mark Brown needs a miracle here. He's got to finish a number of spots in front of Dane Kingshot in order to wrestle the crown from the West Australian.
I think he might have his work cut out here, Sammy, because Dave, with this rain, it's going to hook this track up considerably, and these guys are going to be flat out.
Yeah, it's going to be a high-speed freight train, if I can use that expression. The American Zach Dorm, well, how hard's he going to be to beat off pole position? They go racing. Troy Jenkins in second spot, followed by Dane Kingshot. And the pace, an absolute cracker. It's something of a miracle that we're watching cars circulating at Premier Speedway. Troy Jenkins up on the inside of the American. What a move by the Sydney sider.
Jenkins' car looking really good in the hooked up conditions as it was earlier in the night, so I think he's happy to see some rain and this track get a little bit faster.
It'll probably suit him well as we look at Kingshot on board there. Troy's used to running the Parramatta track in Sydney, which is often hooked up and sticky.
Great shot, Dane Kingshot. It's only early days. We just saw a quick shot of Sean Bradford in the 26 car. He's running at the pointy end of this race. We've got a car into the wall. And on lap 4, we go to the orange lights. And this race will restart as we see Farrell moving around in the car. Paul Farrell. Another look. What's the top of the screen on this fence cam shot?
Looks like he got a little bit of help there from behind, I think. Possibly a little tap maybe from Mills. Turning right into the fence.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual sort of crash. You don't see it on Speedway.
Okay, Drury is on the scene. Let's head downstairs.
We're here with local driver Paul Farrell. Paul, unfortunate ending for the A-Mate for you.
Yeah, look, I was having to go up top and passed a few cars up top, and then I drove to the bottom there and there was water there, and things happen. My own fault, got tagged, and the car's a mess, but that's part of racing, and we'll come back and do it again next time, I guess.
Yeah, Paul still managing a smile despite the obvious disappointment. Troy Jenkins, what about the pace of the Sydney driver in car 78, giving the American professional the hurry up? He was disappearing into the distance prior to that crash of Farrell's. So Dorm, he's back with him now. Let's see what his race strategy is with 26 laps to run.
He certainly was disappearing, Dave. Dorm's got it on him at the moment. Here we go, another stoppage here with the number 8 car.
Yeah, Paul Robinson out of Western Australia. So they don't go a lap before we have another stoppage. Let's hope we can go flag to flag now, and Mark Brown will, if it were not for bad luck, he would have had none at all in this series. This Sydney-based team somehow came into the event a mathematical chance of winning it, but gee, they've been devoid of luck on so many occasions in this 6-round series. Of course, it was scheduled to be 7, but the Nowra event in New South Wales was rained out. It was the penultimate round. So back underway. Let's see how Troy Jenkins goes and his mission to fend off the advances of the American.
Yeah, just looking at the attitude of Troy's car here, guys. He's really stable. He's keeping that left front down. It's a pretty good indicator that he's got his car nicely freed up. When you watch some of the other cars, they're bucking and bouncing, lifting the left front like they're a little bit too tight for these heavy conditions.
Now the other thing as well is Kingshot. If he's noticed that the number 9 car's pulled infield, weight's now taken off his shoulders, he can go out and try and win this race and not have to finish and worry about Brown taking the championship away from him. So he could be another threat coming into this race.
Yeah, well, he can relax to some extent, can't he? He effectively has the championship in the bag now because his two major rivals, Lee Redmond, obviously not lining up in this race because of an injury. And, of course, Mark Brown now on the centre green. So, really, he can afford just to go out and enjoy himself, and safety first sort of philosophy here.
Yeah, another thing too, I think this track would be slowly drying out on the main racing line. Obviously, it was a little bit slick earlier on tonight. The rain sort of bringing that moisture back, but it wouldn't take long with 20-odd cars running around on the optimum line. It's going to slicken off a little bit, and I think Dorm's starting to wake up to that fact, and he could be starting to add the pressure to Jenkins.
Yeah, you saw Dorm searching there before. He went high, but it wasn't the way. It looked like it was a bit greasy up there. no way of getting around the top, so he's going to have to figure a way around the bottom of Troy Jenkins, and that's never an easy task.
Yeah, so Troy running like his car is on rails. The BOC gases stealth synergy now under increasing pressure from Zach Dorm from Illinois in the USA. He's closing the gap. I guess about 3 car lengths separates them now. Dorm got an excellent run through turn 3 and 4. He closed up slightly. Lap 13 of 30, and of course Kingshot not far away either. Speaking of Dane, we now take you for a ride on board with him.
Doing very little work on the steering wheel. Look at his hands, just a little tip into the corner, and then pretty much just a little bit of opposite lock all the way around the exit of the corner and down the straight, really. So his car's working pretty well too.
Troy Jenkins doing a stellar job out in front. Hope you're enjoying our exclusive coverage of the Speedcar Pro Series Grand Finale. The American, he's lurking on the inside. Slide job takes the lead and did it without brushing Troy Jenkins, and now Kingshot is arriving on the scene to apply more pressure to Jenkins.
Troy got off his preferred bottom line there, and he paid a heavy price for it. Dorm, I said it before, Dorm was going to need that inside gap to work with Troy, and he gave it to him in my eyes.
Anthony Chafee, gentlemen, is up running fourth, doing a solid job. Here's another look at that for Valvoline Sin Power on the replay. Nice job.
Dorm really aided by the fact that he had an awesome run off turn 2, which allowed him to get to the inside as well while Jenkins had the door open.
Yeah, Troy will be disappointed in that. He's been superb tonight. You give these American boys half an opportunity, they'll seize it every time. And Dorm now is putting a bit of territory between himself and his nearest rival, Jenkins. And I guess that gap now is out to about 8 car lengths as they head down the back straight. That's Dane Kingshot you're looking at in pursuit of Jenkins. Chafee is still fourth. 9 laps to run.
Dorm looking really good out front, I guess, just using that experience that they do get racing so much over there. But Kingshot's also not out of this race. I mean, this is speedway racing. We never know what's going to be around the corner, but he's definitely kept himself in contention for the win.
You're right. He looks very relaxed in the car, doesn't he, Kingshot? Not exactly flashing his elbows in the cockpit. It's just that kind of racetrack, I guess. As we see the American about to put a lap on Travis Mills. Well, you wouldn't see that every day of the week. Not here in Australia, particularly in Victoria. I remind you, if you've just joined our show tonight, that this event doubling as the 69th running of the Victorian Speedcar Championship, the second oldest speedcar race in the world.
Dorm's trying really hard to make that high line work so he can get through this lap traffic. Just a hint of desperation there. I think he knows how well Troy's car was working before. No mirrors on these cars, so he can't tell where Troy is. And look at the line of lap traffic in front of him.
Oh, here's a chance for Jenkins. Dorm went offline slightly, but recovered it quite brilliantly, it's got to be said. Gee, there's a real traffic jam out there. Dorm's thinking, you've got to be kidding. How can this happen so late in the race?
That's a real indication that his car's tight. He just touched a bit of water on the inside there, Sammy, and you saw how quickly the car pushed up.
Well, that's it. And just see there, Bradford just got really loose, and that sent Glazebrook straight to the infield. There is a little bit of moisture on the infield, or just right around the gutter of the racetrack, and it's making it really hard to navigate lap traffic.
So Zach Dorm, he's got one hand on the trophy. I mean the Speedcar Pro Series Grand Final trophy. Dane Kingshot is going to win the championship in its inaugural season. Now Troy Jenkins moving up on the inside of Travis Mills, and Kingshot went by as well, and Mills goes to the infield. Wow.
I'm not sure if Troy had something to do with that. It looked like he was on the inside when that happened.
Looked like a little bit of a bump there. You saw the camera give a bit of a shake, and his front end's looking a little bit worse for wear there, Sammy. I think you might be on the money.
Yep, officials have deemed that the car was parked precariously just off the racing line, a couple of metres inside the pole line. So for safety reasons, they throw the orange lights, and on the fence cam you can see how it all unfolded for Travis Mills.
Looks like Troy got a hold of that moisture down on the infield and might have pushed up a little bit.
Guys, can I just give a big rap to Speedway Australia? the peak body of speedway racing down under for its vision in inaugurating this Speedcar Pro Series. It's been outstanding, and we've enjoyed every lap of it right here on Checkered Flag, and also the support of Speed Cars Australia, appreciated by all stakeholders in the sport. Zach Dorm, the American professional, on his way to victory. He takes it. The grand final of the Speedcar Pro Series goes to the USA. Troy Jenkins, a tremendous effort in second. Dane Kingshot, he's the champion by virtue of that third place finish. Then Thomas and Jamie McKinlay. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable night of racing in dreadful weather conditions. But there's your champion, Dane Kingshot, regarded as one of the emerging stars in Australian Speedway, and he certainly reiterates his ability as a result of his exploits in this tournament. The Valvoline SimPower race recap. We had a couple of stoppages early in proceedings that necessitated restarts, but really it was all about Troy Jenkins during the early stages. That was a big hit for Farrell in the 2-car. And then Dorm got on with the job of running down Jenkins and passed him on the inside, as you're about to see. And from that point onwards, he was never headed.
No, Dorm looked really good out front, had a strong car and very good in traffic as well.
Kingshot did what he had to do. Of course, late in the race, Travis Mills got into trouble. He headed to the infield. That race caused a stoppage, or rather that incident caused a stoppage. And upon the recommencement of racing, the American, well, he careered away with the victory. Kingshot is the champion, though, on 1,508 points in advance of Lee Redmond, Mark Brown, Scotty Glazebrook. Neville Lance somehow managed to snatch a top 5 finish. He had no luck throughout. Let's head downstairs.
Well, Troy Jenkins from BOC Racing, tremendous effort tonight. You look like the winner all the way through, but nonetheless, a fantastic result, second place.
Yeah, look, we're pretty happy at we come down here and, I guess we set fast time early on, but the sort of time trials didn't count much. They didn't quite get it all through. Had a couple of good heat races, started off the front row, and, yeah, look, I did my very best and, came up a little bit short to a quality racer in Zach, and, he was just too good on the night.
Well, congratulations, our new Victorian state title winner, and it's only his first feature race in Australia. Tells you a lot about his credentials. Zach Dorm, an amazing performance. Congratulations.
Thank you. They could have cancelled this race a couple of different times, and they didn't. So, the track crew stuck it out and gave us a pretty decent racetrack to have a race on.
Well, Dane Kingshot, third tonight in the Victorian title, but more importantly, Speedcar Pro Series first ever champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's just a testament to all my crew and family and all the people that come along. It's a hard deal being on the road like this. I mean, it was only 6 or 7 rounds, but even that, for people with a low budget, it's definitely hard work. So we knew we could win it, but you got to race for it. So I'm stoked that we got it.
Yeah, he'd be delighted with that. He's got a very big future in the sport, has Dane Kingshot. A reminder to grab your copy of Speedway Racing News Magazine. The February issue is now on sale. It's an absolute beauty. 60 pages, chock as full of the latest racing news and information. Several thought-provoking feature stories, including an exclusive interview with Jeff Kendrick, Speedway Australia Director, who speaks out on a number of topics. Make sure you join us next week on Checkered Flag. It's the AHG Sprint Car Series from the Perth Motorplex, and we bring you that coverage on Wednesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time. Sammy, good to work with you again.
Thanks, David. Yeah, it's great to be here. Loved watching the midgets at Warrnambool.
And Warren, thanks for your contribution as always.
Yeah, thank you, David. I've thoroughly enjoyed this Speedcar Series. What a top job they've all done.
There is the champion. It's Dane Kingshot, the winner of the inaugural Speedcar Pro Series. See you next week.
You've been watching Checkered Flag on Speed, proudly presented by Valvoline SimPower, delivering the